Hi guys, welcome to another Crypto EMC episode. We're going to be talking about the Golden Cross today. I want to point out a few things. I'm going to share. This is a really powerful signal. I don't use moving averages a lot, but I want to show you how it is, how it works, and the pitfalls that social media creates behind or around this simple strategy so that you don't end up falling victim to that. Okay, so what is the Golden Cross? Simple. It's a simple moving average 50 and a simple moving average 200. And statistically, what it means is, and if I show you on the S&P 500, which will probably be the best long-term data that you can find, if I show you on the S&P 500, once the Golden Cross occurs, so it means your 50, which is the green line, crosses over the 200, which is the orange line, you find that there's some really good upside every time that happens. So it doesn't, it's no surprise from a social media point of view. Once Golden Crosses occur, influencers, KOLs, whatever you want to call them, they tweet and share the information around that because it is a really good bull buy signal. Or isn't it? Okay, so 85 or 80 or 78%. That's the going stat on the Golden Cross. 78% of the times that you do get a Golden Cross, the green crosses over the orange. Okay, there is more upward potential that occurs. But the problem though is, if we take a step back and we look at what is a moving average, so this is Bitcoin. And this is our current in the makings Golden Cross, the Golden Cross. It's our current Golden Cross. It's in the making. So what is a moving average then? Before we then take this further, because that's where the trap lies. Okay. Now, most people will use a moving average and you will find that they'll say, you can see that it turned the 50 moving average got turned into resistance and there it turned the 50 into support. And there the 50 was back into resistance and so forth. But in all fairness, a moving average is not a support and a resistance level. It's not a trend indicator in its heart. It's just a momentum indicator. And all that it is doing, it's looking at the short-term momentum, okay, and it's comparing that with the long-term momentum. And the power of the moving average is in that when the signal gets posted, if you then pull the line in and kind of see where you're at, is that the move has already begun and you're riding in something that's already moving well. Most people want to try and get there in anticipation that the Golden Cross is going to occur, and that's so forth. And that's the catch that I think that burns a lot of people when momentum like this occurs. This is a really good example of the Golden Cross. Okay, once the Golden Cross kicks in, but then now there's not a lot of move, and that frustrates people. Or you get a scenario where there's the Golden Cross. Let's mark it out. The Golden Cross kicks in, and then the market dumps. And that's what hurts people. So today I want to show you as well how to guard against the Golden Cross hurting you, basically taking you out, and when to trust it. When will it give you good signals and when will it give you false signals? So interested, want to know a little bit more? Then we're going to take this over to the altcoins. Let me know in the comments. We'll see where we're at. Okay, let's quickly see we've got. Hello, Liesel. Hello, Renee. Hello, Paulo. Thanks for joining in live. Anybody else say hi? Go on. There's about 50 people joining in live at this moment. As you know, I do not stream this to any of my other social media channels anymore. This is just YouTube. So if you want to find it, you need to get it there. And if you want to join me in the Discord, where I am trading live with everybody, there's a couple of people waiting in there as I've jumped off now to make the stream with you guys. You're more than welcome to do so. All you need to do is have a Prime XBT account. Now, guys, here's a little deal for you guys this week only. Anybody that opens a Prime XBT account, deposits $3,000 or more of their trading capital, not your HODL capital, your trading capital, into Prime XBT, I will give them 6 months access to my private group. 6 months, which would potentially see you through right until where I predict the bull market is going to end, which means all my HODL reports, everything that I share regarding when I want to buy alts, how I want to go about buying alts, all my tools, tricks, everything that I have at my disposal will be at your disposal as well. HODL reports comes with videos, comes with charts, comes with a lot of additional information. We got in on some coins at really good levels, guys. Okay, so that's the deal. It's this week only, and it's on Prime. Make it happen. Change your HODL bags. Okay, right. So let's go on with Bitcoin and the Golden Cross. Okay. Now, before I do that, let's just clean up and have a look at Bitcoin and bring it in here. Now, as I said, social media has a problem. It destroys the power of something in the anticipation of trying to let people know I'm the smartest one. I saw the Golden Cross first. You got it here first. That's always the case. It's what news does and so forth, because we all want to get in at the low. So the need to be first is always the biggest problem. Therefore, the Golden Cross then fails or hurts a lot of people. And now I want to show you a trick that you can use to not get wrecked. Now, say you're still a beginner, you're still new to trading, and you've basically figured out how the moving average works, which basically is just the average closing price. The 50 is the average closing price of the last 50 candles divided by 50. And the 200 is it's obtaining the average closing price. So it's the last 50 candles price divided by 50, and the same with the 200. Okay, that's all that it is. So it's just a mathematical line. It's not something more than that. It's not magic or anything else like that. It's just taking the closing prices, and it's showing you what is blatantly obvious when you're looking at the candles. Are we trending up? Is the momentum up, or is the momentum down? But when we trade, you don't use momentum only. You need to understand what is the trend, because the momentum can be up, but we can be in a lateral or a downwards trending market. Then obviously momentum, that's the given. And then you want to have a structure or the localization. Where do you need to enter in that range? So that's the other two things that you always need to pair with this. So the truth is, although there's a Golden Cross forming, it doesn't mean that this is a buy zone today. Can you and do you have it in you to sit out and wait for the signal to come to enter? That's the hard part. That's the part that nobody can foresee, because we don't know whether and how deep the retrace will be. But that's the gist of what the pitfalls would typically be for the Golden Cross. Okay. Now, how can you navigate this? It's simple. You go into TradingView. There where indicators and strategies are. This is a tool I created. It's completely free, no strings attached. Just type it in, trend, scope. There it is. Created by me. Okay, click on it. It will load the indicator in onto your trading view. Now, when you go to the little settings button there, you click on that, and you can go and you can click on inputs, and then you'll see there will be these drop-down menus with different strategies on what is built in that indicator. So it's especially powerful for those on a free trading view plan that's limited to 3 indicators or so. Because as soon as you start moving these, using these multiple indicators, you run out of slots. You want to have an RSI, you maybe want to learn about the MACD, you want to learn about the Bollinger Band, whatever the case might be. So what I managed to do is I put everything into one indicator. And this is the following steps that you need to follow just to ensure that when you do enter on a Golden Cross, because you're going to want to enter on some of these alts. The question is, when are they ready? When you do enter, you're entering at the right time, where the probabilities will count in your favor the best. Okay, does that sound interesting? Do you guys want to know how to do that? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to head over to the comments and quickly see who we've got live now. I see Mr. All In is here. Well, I'm all in with you, my friend. Daniel made it to the live. Thanks for taking the time, joining live with me. No, live videos are a lot more messy because there's no real script. I don't really plan these things. I send the tile out, I write the idea, and then I go and then I try and give the information as best I can. in that regard. Let's see what else we have, Mr. Altok. Happy Bitcoin Pizza Day. I don't even know. I don't think that guy will ever eat pizza again. Bitcoin Pizza Day, basically, I don't know how many years ago. For those that don't know, the guy paid 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza. It would be worth, I don't know how much. You can do the math. So, yeah, that's a very expensive pizza. I wonder the guy that got the 10,000 Bitcoin. I never heard his side of the story, though. Maybe he's off on an island sipping margaritas for the rest of his life. You'll never know. Okay, guys, so let's talk through the Trendscope indicator. So it's very simple. What I want you to do when you do load the indicators, head over to my Discord. Links in the video description. And when you go into the info area, you'll see there's a channel that says Learn to Trade or How to Use Tools. So if you click on the How to Use Tools, there's some TradingView specific videos that will just help guide you how to use TradingView, especially if you're not used to these kind of things. And then you'll find that there's the Buddy Indicator overview and the Trendscope Indicator overview. So if you click on that, there's a whole write-up about all the various strategies that's built into the indicator. I call them in this, I basically name them as sections or a filter set. Okay, so the simplest way to just show that again, just to remind you, is when you click on that, there's the filter set. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down there. And all you need to do to make yours look like mine is just go read through that. Make sure you have all the settings. So some of them comes with additional indicators like an RSI or something like that. And I've just preloaded those setups. All the instructions are in that little message to make mine look like this. So each time it changes the filter set and loads the additional 1 or 2 indicators that is required to make yours just look like mine. Okay, so it's very simple. That's where you need to go and just get all that information. In that as well is then a more in-depth how to use it, each filter set as well with the goal. So I don't need to go through all and everything of the workings of this with you guys. I can just apply that. Okay, so how do we start? Well, very simple. We now have a golden cross for Bitcoin on the daily. So we want to be bullish. We want to buy. The first filter set you need to use is your short-term momentum. And the rule with this is very simple. I want to have the following moving averages in the following sequence, meaning this one will be your support. So if yours look like this, how do I know which one is support, resistance, and a support trend and momentum? Very simple. You click on the little settings button. You go to scales and lines, and thereby indicators. You just say you want the name, and you can have the value in well as you if you want to, but just need to have the name. Boom. And now you can see where they are. So support is there, momentum is there, trend is there. So on the short term, Bitcoin has got those lines in the right order. Great. So now we can say the trend is up. Now, if we go over to our next filter set, the long term, because we want to know whether we need to swing. It tells us that long term, we're not quite there yet, because now you can see that the green is still below red. Momentum is not above the trend just yet. So it means, in short, that this run could still continue on a while and then later come back. See what I mean? You had the golden cross. I marked it out there, but you can see that your long-term momentum takes a while before it kicks in. And then once that happens, you can then use that as a support entry to enter. You always want to enter on support, or you want to enter once these lines line up, because then you know you're basically guaranteed for the move. Okay, let's take away these brush strokes and then move on to the next one. And if the market is giving you this, like it did right there, it's not in the right sequence, the best tool to use to try and spot that entry to try and get in would be the next one, the trading range, filter set C. And all that it is trying to do is to show you once you move into price, once price moves into, and let me just do this, into these gaps on the side, you'll see that it will load this little sequence of panels for you. Once price moves into those gaps, that's still a good time to enter. But if the volume is high, that's a bad time to be into the market. So where we're at right now, if you look at this price action, what do we have? Let's move this down a little bit. We're moving into that low volume. It's still a good time to enter. And the continuation, the next breakout will only occur once the bands narrow down. So now you have the update. You know what is the thing. You know where the dangers are with a golden cross. You know that it also can fail. And when does it fail? It fails, and this is the scary part, when there's a false signal when the market is lateral ranging. And how would you know the market is lateral ranging? Simple. You go back to short-term momentum. And if you look at the short-term momentum, if these lines are in a blend like we have here, that is the time when you do not want to use a golden cross. So if the golden cross occurred there, that would have been a horrible time for the market. Okay, let me take away the brush strokes, clean out the screen, because obviously there's now a lot of drawing being done on them. Okay, I'm going to load the two moving averages again so you can just have them with me. So the first one, and there's the second one. Simple. If you want to load them, click on them, make that 50. Click on that little gearbox, make that 200. And then just to make sure that we use the same color everywhere, I'm going to make it golden for the 200. And I'm going to make it green for the 50 again. Okay. So now we've got our moving averages. And 200. Okay. And why are they not showing? There we go. Okay. So as soon as we go into this environment, let's have a look at that. I'm going to scale into a smaller time frame. There's a golden cross. But by the time that people entered on the golden cross, what happens? Nothing, and it dumps on your ass. And that's the danger. So when you're in a lateral range, use the other tools. When you're in a lateral range, you cannot use the golden cross. Now, are we in a lateral range at this moment? From a weekly point of view, no. From a daily point of view, no. Only from a monthly point of view, one can argue that maybe. It's too soon to tell, though. And that's why I think that this golden cross is safe. So then let's take this over to the alts then, because then it means that we can sigh a little bit of relief and maybe look at buying some dips on coins like Sui, Mana, OP, good, wholesome coins. I know that there was a little bit of a kerfuffle on Sui with their USDC coin, the Oracle messing up. I haven't managed to research that. And that's why I said this morning in this morning's video, stay away from moving your retirement money in any of these coins. They're alternative coins. Big money still needs to be in Bitcoin. Okay. Maybe before I do that, do you guys want me to do an analysis of the future projection of where Bitcoin can go to? Let me know. Do you want to know, or are you happy with where we're at? And should we look at some alts? If so, drop some hot topic alts for me in the comments, and then I can have a look at that. Ivan, Stanku, Altec, hello to you guys as well. Thanks for joining in live. Okay, and let's get going with these alts. Okay, now this is the problem that I have while you guys look. Why I'm reluctant to say that the Bitcoin move is over, mind you, while we're here. Let's go to the daily time frame. I'm just going to load the trading panel. Why I think the move is not allowed to be over now. Okay, naysayers, or if you missed the bus, you was like, it needs to come down. If it comes down now, we're in deep shit. I'm going to be honest with you. So it cannot afford to come down now, and you need to bet that it's going to move. Because as soon as you take this information that I've shared with you guys, and I'm going to clean I tend to leave the brush strokes on, not to waste your time when I'm live deleting them in front of you, but it's easy for you then to refer back to what was said the last time around if you want to try and keep up with what I'm doing here. If we look at Ethereum in that same way, okay, there you have it. And maybe what I need to do is maybe just load it on the screen, because I want to use the moving average as an example real quick. So I'm going to load Ethereum. Right, let's take away that setup that I shared, and let's take away those lines. Let's make it a clean screen. Where we're at now, Ethereum is so far away from a golden cross or any upwards momentum, it isn't funny. Hence the fact that we had this massive bump in price, and now Bitcoin is pumping further, and there's that reluctance in ETH and in the other alts to move. Solana has got similar problem. Okay, Cardano has got maybe not so much the exact same problem, but you can see that yet again, Bitcoin's pushing all-time highs again, and these coins aren't even on their previous highs. Okay, and that is why Bitcoin cannot afford to turn around on us just yet. So what would be the best bet for me is to be in BTC, because it needs to drag all these coins out of the mud still, because their momentum is not up to scratch yet. Now, what is true for Bitcoin and the Golden Cross will eventually be true for any one of these alts, because once you do get the Golden Cross, like I said, 78% of the time, there's more momentum. The only catch is, when you look at it on the screen like this, the move is already mid-move. So you're always going to be late to it, but at least at that stage, you'll have the comfort and knowing that there is going to be definite outcomes. And you do have the tools to buy in on retraces, because any move has a little bit of a retrace. So what is true for your altcoins in that regard will also then be true for your, what's true for Bitcoin will be true for your alts as well. Okay. So does that make sense with you guys? So I don't want this to stop. I need this thing to keep on running. Bitcoin needs to keep on running all the way now. No more dips. Dips is out of it now. No more dips, because we need to keep going. I don't know whether it's going to go 160. I don't know whether it's going to go. It can slow down. I don't mind that as well. But we need that so that for the best of it, the dominance can start breaking down and the alts can start switching around and changing their momentum. Now, what makes me believe that this can go for much longer? Very simple. If you look at the legacy side and we go to the Dixie, they're always cross-correlated. So when Bitcoin pumps, the Dixie tends to, or has to, or typically dumps. And when Bitcoin then creates a bull market top, the Dixie bottoms out. And when Bitcoin creates a bottom, the Dixie tops out. Okay. And I've marked them out. So what I'll do is I'm just going to hide the moving averages just to make the screen less noisy for you guys to follow. And I've got the lines here so you can see exactly the time. When did Bitcoin create an all-time high? The Dixie was at lows. The market cap for Bitcoin is very small. You didn't need a lot. Okay. When Bitcoin created a bear bottom, the Dixie created a top. When Bitcoin created an all-time high, the Dixie was ending a retrace. And the funny thing, while this one had an all-time high, you can see Bitcoin's all-time high is there, but this is a 2017 pump where there was that insane alt season after Bitcoin created its high. So you can see that there was still a flood of money leaving. And that's potentially why we haven't had our alt season just yet even, because Bitcoin hasn't run out of steam and there is no extra money coming into these coins. And like I said, there's so many more coins. Just doesn't, at this stage, it just doesn't work. Okay. So now you have that. So look at where we're at now. If I were to chart this as a altcoin, let's forget about the Dixie as anything other than a cross correlation on a trend that we can try and use to predict where the future is going to be. I'm going to load this on a weekly time frame and I'll show you this. Okay. Up until now, the Dixie is bullish. So long term, the Dixie has been bullish. And the talks for Bitcoin super cycle was normally on the cards that there's that potential, if Bitcoin then gets adopted by legacy, which we have now, we've got the spot ETF, that there might be a scenario where Bitcoin will go to 1 million or 2 million or something crazy like that. Now, what needs to happen for that to occur? And I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm also just want to try and put a little common sense behind that. Well, simple. If you look at the Dixie even further back, from the 80s, 84, thereabout. And even further, you can see that this thing has been trending in a range, making lower highs and lower lows consistently for the last few decades. So if this scenario is about to happen where we break trend, the play for the Dixie is that we'll potentially be doing something like this. And that means hold on to your Bitcoin, folks, because if this is the case, if this is where the international trade currency is going to head towards, it means that your Bitcoin is going to fly. And it's off the back that, when we talk about mass adoption, we're not near any of this, where something now becomes common practice for all the households and everybody in there. So if you think about this, everybody's got a microwave these days. Everybody's got a clothes washer. Everybody's got a fridge. Everybody's got a stove. And it's that adoption rate that keeps on consistently drive price up. Now, with Bitcoin slowing down, as you can see, I mean, if we look at this chart, let's bring this in. It is definitely slowing down. It's not like it's flying like it used to be. I'm maybe going to go, yeah, weekly should be enough. Okay. So this adoption curve is reaching maturity. So it's going to probably slow down at some stage, and then it's going to sit at a price point, and then it's going to turn into a gold, which means that we've got the scenario where we have a little bit of time, and maybe it is exactly what we need. This swap that drives that last bit of adoption and gets Bitcoin to where it needs to be. Food for thought. I mean, I don't know the truth, the future. You don't know. This is the best statistical estimate that we can find, and it's just worth thinking about that when you look at your long-term backs. Okay, there you have it. Let's see what Game Room has to say. Bitcoin move will be over when it's over. I like it. It's over when it's over. Treat the trend if it's going to last forever. Or treat it, the trend's your friend until it bends. Something like that. Hi, Rudo. When would be a good time to get back into SUI? Liesel, I don't know. I want SUI. I want to move Bitcoin into SUI. Purely because it potentially has more performance than Solana and ETH combined in it still left. But until I move my money in there, it's as simple. I don't have an answer. And it's one thing to speculate on a buy zone with you guys. It's fine. I can share buy zones until the sun comes up. But until I move my funds in there, I mean that's the thing. Now SUI is retracing a little bit now off the back that people are waking up and up into the Oracle failure or whatever the case might be. Like I said, I haven't researched it. It happened just as we were going, just as I was prepping to go live with you guys. So I don't know what's cooking in there. What I can tell you is that the TA is your friend. So what is it? There's strong bearish divergence. We're testing support levels. And as long as we stay above that level, that initial pivot, we're going to keep on doing this. This is going to get you out at the top, my friends. It's as simple as that. This stupid little strategy, it's going to get you out at the top. Okay. As long as we stay above it, you remain bullish on the bearish signal. Once this starts doing this, and you start falling below those pivots, that's when you get out. We can use just the previous pump on SUI as an example. There's a pivot. So anything from that point onwards is technically strong bearish divergence. Do you need to get out? No, because let's look at that pivot. Let's mark that candle out. There. Did we lose that pivot support? Not once. Then we created a low when eventually we started retracing a bit, but we're still above that pivot, and the market went higher still. There's another one. Let's mark that out. What did we do? Did we lose it? Did we open, close, or trade below that line? No. So any of that divergence, and I mean, I sold there. That was a sell zone I gave with you guys. That sell zone. Technically, the sell zone is as you take profit. You take profit as it goes up. But then we bought back. And what did it do again? Now it made yet again another higher high with a previous pivot sitting right there. And then what? Started trading below it. And as soon as you trade below it, we tried to play the momentum game, buy here, which failed. And ultimately then the rest is history. And that's just the way it is. So none of this is pointing to us being here. Okay, so we're probably in something like this at this stage. And like I just said, because the market has accelerated at an alarming rate, thank you, Bitcoin, and damn you, Bitcoin, for doing that to a point. We still need this thing to slow down a little bit. I don't want to see deep retraces, just needs to slow down a little bit in order for us to get in on these altcoin entries, okay? Liesel, you were in the Discord. You guys got the SUI signals, the more advanced. Get in on your first entries early enough. It's all there. There it is. You guys can check it out, SUI. So, there was the buy already shared. So early enough, you guys got in on this. And so you're golden. Simple as that. But now I'll just wait a little bit. Okay, let's see what else. It's an Oracle bug, the team polish. Yeah, I read something on like that. So what is an Oracle? For those that don't know what an Oracle is, it's simple. Cryptocurrency does one thing. It's a decentralized ledger. That's basically the simplest way to try and do it. Okay, so it's a way that we can have a spreadsheet that nobody else can cheat on, because we've got many computers all gathering the data and then comparing notes with each other. The more the computers are, the better. And the more decentralized it is. But that data that goes to the computer needs to come from something. And that's the Oracle. So if the Oracle screws up, none of this matters. That's why I don't put my retirement. That's why I'm not taking light of this and saying, okay, it's just a little bug and it's going to be okay. Yeah, maybe so. But you don't want to see your life savings turn to zero on a bug, because we know that the markets are driven. SUI, the gains. Nothing can go up at that alarming rate that it's been doing. And you can call this safe, consistent gains. Because if this was safe, consistent gains, why would SUI have done from this original buy at 55 cents? Why did we go up to $1.60 and it came right back? So even though that it's good and it's nice, and just like that, we're in a pump, we went back down, we're in a pump, we can go all the way back down. It's just the way it is. Moves like this is unsustainable. That's why there's this crazy volatility. That's why we can trade them and smile as a crypto trader and make a lot of money. But in all fairness, it's not healthy for anything to start at 55 cents and then in a year's time be at $5. It's just not healthy. There will be a retrace. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's see what else. Yeah, maybe that is the case. Maybe they got hacked. I don't know, guys. The only thing, this is the other side about KOLs and so forth. I can simulate the idea that I know, but in all fairness, we can only drink from the source that is provided, from whatever news gets posted, whatever we agree with, and so forth. So in the end of the day, the risk still remains entirely on you, and you're actually still flying blind, because unless you're in that room where they're debating that problem right now, you won't know what the real truth will be. And that's it. And it's not me trying to be, all conspiracy theory, like it's just the reality of life. Okay. So that's why risk management is key, and you need to have a diverse portfolio, not everything in one. Okay. That's it. Okay. Let's quickly have a look at a couple of more alts. So there's a few minutes left. I see there's a question for JASMY. Let's quickly have a look. Let's have a look at the JASMY for you guys. I'm going to go JASMY on Bybit. Here we go. Now, this is the same thing that I'm seeing. So if we look at the Trendscope, let's make it very simple on you guys. I'm going to go through the steps again on applying the indicator. Let's just clean out the brushes from the last discussion we had. Okay. Short term, is this thing trending? No. These lines aren't lining up. So have you missed the bus? No. Okay. Long term, is this thing trending? No. Obviously, if short term isn't there, long term will most probably not be there. So have you missed the bus? No. So you can still expect a retrace. So you need to be considering this thing from a trading range point of view. So it's very simple. What you do is you zoom into the most recent amount of candles that you can find. There we have it, this move. And then your VRVP will show you where the gaps will be. So typically, that is where your support would be. That's where the buyers would typically stick, okay? And because all these buyers will defend price if it moves there. And it shows you the upper end of the range where resistance is, and it shows you where support is. So you don't need to know a lot. You just need to know how to read this. And when will the next breakout move happen? When this range starts narrowing down. All the big ranges happen when this bubble starts narrowing down. We're not narrowing down just yet. So it would typically take a little bit of time. Okay. And remember, this is now the thing. These are lagging stuff, but it is a nice tool for you because you are looking at a larger view. I don't honestly care if I buy it there or there. I just don't want to buy it there. That's the whole play, and that's the whole game with these tools. Okay. Now, do we have a golden cross on this thing? Let's quickly do this. Let's switch all this off. And maybe let me just quickly, I didn't load anything on this dashboard. Load 2 moving averages. I'm going to make the one 50 again, and I'll be as quick as I potentially can for you guys, 200. And I'll make this one gold again so that you guys can follow easily, and I'll make that one green again. Okay, so no golden cross, no nothing. So that's it. So maybe on the 4 hour, you can see there was the beginnings of a cross. And exactly what I said, golden crosses can hurt a lot of people because now you buy on the move that it's going to go up. And then what does it do? It dumps you down. So if you don't have the additional tools, the stuff that I share and do with you guys every day, you're going to get wrecked because who can stomach, let's be honest, buying something and then a week or two later, having the thing being down 23%, 25%. You'll shit your bed if that's your life savings. It's as simple as that. Okay, so there you have it. Let's see. Let's see what else we have. XRP. We can look at XRP real quick. Let's quickly have a look at XRP. Okay. Daily time frame, Golden Cross. Yes, it's just formed. Great stuff. Momentum's there. Everything is there. What do you want to do with XRP? You want to use these tools to just narrow down where the potentials would be. The retrace. Well, no, it's not a Golden Cross. Sorry, guys. It's a death cross. It's the opposite of a Golden Cross. And you just need to catch your wake up, yeah. Death cross is the opposite. So maybe it's going to cross right back over. See how these lagging stuff can move you. But there is high probability if this keeps on moving that XRP could potentially see more. Why? Just forget about the moving average real quick. All this accumulation that happened over all these years, effort versus result needs to play out. There's so much effort still put in here that this result isn't big enough. So XRP could potentially, on the weekly time frame, still go, make a higher high, and give us yet another divergence. Stay above that point and there's more to come. Can't remember what was the story with this chart here, but let's quickly open it up and see. I can't remember what the plan was, but okay, let that just lie there. Long sideways, massive gains. So XRP might have some big moves there. So we need to keep an eye on XRP, guys. Okay. Let's see what else. Dean says, GUMMY. Look, the thing with meme, and this is the point that I was trying to push through this morning regarding all these thousands of millions of coins, not thousands, millions of coins out there that we have now at our, available for us to choose. I mean, where is it now? Let me just load the right tab. I've got so many tabs, I can't find the bloody thing. It's not that one. But okay, there's 15 million of these tabs, 15 million coins out there. So you're sitting in a situation where there's maybe too much coins for the liquidity that's out there. And that's another scary thing. Here it is. There we go. There, 15.59. It's on the screen. You can see it. Too much. And that then means that if the communities aren't strong enough with any of these alts, let's go to the memes real quick. Let's look at GUMMY. If the community isn't strong enough, it won't run. So won't run. Simple as that. I don't know the tokenmetics behind that, but I think that this is still going to die a little bit more. And I won't necessarily grab GUMMY just yet. Now, if you do have $100 a spare to just throw away, buy some GUMMY, because at some stage it's going to be down here. It's going to be somewhere here. That will happen. It's going to be violent and fast, and then you need to hope that there's enough liquidity for you to get out. Will this thing go and make a higher high? I doubt it from where we are now. Dixie breaks down and we get a super cycle. Maybe I'm eating my words and I'm going to look like an idiot for saying that it's not going to go there. But we can only make the best decision with the data we have right now, up till right now. That's why I do these videos daily. Tomorrow, things might change completely. Okay. Yesterday, I wanted to short the shit out of Bitcoin. Today, I am advocating for the move to not stop. You get where I'm going with that. It's as simple as that. That's the reality of what we're doing. Okay. Let's see. I'm bleeding. I got in on FOMO. What did you buy, Play Media? With dog with hat. Ah, shit, man. I've got some as well. But I didn't FOMO in on this. Like I said, I put money in. With these kind of stuff, you put money in that you can afford to lose. Now, if that is the case, so the only way that you could bleed is because you bought, and let's use the Trendscope Indicator, and I'll show you where, I will predict where you bought. Okay, let it load. Come on, load for me. And maybe what I need to do is just go weekly time frame. That will speed it up a bit. Okay, so typically where you would have bought, statistically, you bought at $2.59. Let me know, Play Media, maybe that's the case. How far off am I from your buying zone? Okay. So you're bleeding in a situation because you're sitting at an area where if that is your average price, you're still far down and we're at resistance. And this is the catch. Heading this thing to the daily time frame, you can see that any more upside is going to be met with strong bearish divergence. Now, this is a bullish signal. But if we lose these momentums, you know, when it gets above this and you lose that, what is it going to do? It's going to come right back down to these levels. And that's the problem that you have. So use this time to ladder out. The best example of that is like I do with my ETH and I did with a lot of other coins, is this rebalancing. Let it load. Come on, load real quick. Where, okay, it didn't hold, it didn't take. So you get to this imbalance where resistance is, you offload. You rather say, I know it's going to fail. And then if you're wrong, like that, you offload. If you're wrong, it will turn it into support and you can buy back at that same price like later on. Okay. So for now, where we're at, it's just too soon to know. Okay. For the Prime XBT deal, must we transfer or can it be another token or value? It can be $3,000 worth of your Bitcoin, Liesel, but in all fairness, you need to hurry, okay? Because it will go real quick. And remember, Prime XBT is a trading platform and it's going to be linked to trading. Okay, so it's not a case of moving it in there and just letting it sit. If it just sits, if you're not trading, if you're not busy, the deal doesn't work. It's as simple as that. For them, remember, it's for them. I broker these deals. They say what they need. I give it, and then they offset that. Okay, so just make sure that you don't end up falling one of those where the axis gets revoked. Okay, there you have it. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for taking time joining live with me. It was fun chatting with you guys. 45 minutes as a long stream. There's a lot that's going to happen. So tomorrow onwards and from now onwards, we will probably be doing 2 streams a day. So make sure to hit the notification. And the whole idea with the 2 streams is to make sure that it doesn't end up into a 45-minute video. So I'll do my best to keep it short. Make sure to watch the shorts and the edited content if you miss the live, so that you don't end up sitting through all the bubble and nonsense that I do during the stream. Have a lovely day. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Just for the sake of being amazing audience, I'll give you a 777. Give yourself a 777 in the chat as well. and I'll be seeing you again tomorrow. Cheers, guys.